All right, guys, welcome back to the Rick Shiels Golf Show podcast, episode 168. I'm currently in Orlando, Florida, USA, and via the forms of technology, we're doing this podcast transatlantic with Guy, who is in Manchester currently.
I am.
All
I'm
right.
in. Well, I was gonna say it's cold, Manchester. It's not actually that cold. It's all right today. Um, it's definitely not Orlando though, and I'm not gonna say it now. I'm jealous. Have you been over there?
We're gutted you're not here, pal. Obviously, couldn't make it over because you're on newborn baby duties. And obviously, it's a bit too soon to be kind of flying around here, there, and everywhere. But you've definitely been missed this week. We've had some great opportunities for some golf course content and PGA show, which I've been to as well. But first off, how is everything at home? Is everything good?
Everything is fine. I'm getting very, very. My handicap at changing nappies started off at 28. Right. I'd say I'm probably 11 now. I think I know it all. Someone like you who's been there with three kids, you probably look at my technique and go, "Oh, you're all right. You can get it round. Not quite breaking 75 yet."
I used
But
to be
I
able to do
reckon,
two nappies at once with one hand.
yeah, no, not in that world yet. But I'd say I'm 11 handicap at changing nappies.
Very
My
good.
quest is for single figures for this season.
Nice.
Um,
That's your
but
big
yeah, everything's
goal.
good. Yeah, that's my goal. That's my objective. Everything's good here. I'm very excited to hear what you've been up to because we've not spoke much while you've been off. While you've been off, while you've been away, should I say? Not on holiday, are you? Definitely not on holiday.
Definitely not.
However, we have got a pretty exciting podcast lined up because not only are we going to hear all your tales from America, from the PGA show, and from playing some amazing golf courses, and I'm sure you had a few sources while you're over there. I guess a couple of
Absolutely,
sources.
absolutely
Little
not.
little Ricky came out to play.
Birdie sauces.
Yeah. However, what's also super exciting, as we're recording this on Monday, literally a couple hours ago, Rory McIlroy has just won on the DP World Tour, and he won by a single stroke over Patrick Reed. Now, I'm not sure how much this you've seen yet, because obviously it's super, super early over there in America. But not only did Rory beat Patrick Reed by one shot, at the start of the week, there was this massive beef over Patrick Reed for a tee, Rory.
That's as much drama as the golf world can handle.
Patrick Reed is also notably a live golfer. And not only that, he wears live merch. So I think Rory will be absolutely um, over the moon to have beat Patrick Reed. But there's
And
two
don't
things I want
forget,
to come on.
isn't there some lawsuit as well? Isn't
Well,
Patrick trying to sue Rory for something?
yeah, I know. And this is the thing. I'm still kind of unsure. I think why are the live players still allowed to play in them? Is it that the rules? Because aren't the rules of live players not being able to play DP World Tour going through the courts as well?
I believe so. I just don't think there's been a definitive answer on it yet.
Well, there's actually quite a number of live players up there doing well.
There was.
Um, but
Well, like
what was also
Richard
interesting,
Bland was doing well.
yeah,
Obviously, Patrick Reed was doing
Stenson,
well. Stenson was doing well. It was funny watching it over here in the US, and we saw some glimpses of T gates, as everyone's calling it, over here on the Golf Channel, and they definitely made a big deal about it. I'm not sure what it was like in the UK, but I mean, they were doing
yes,
slow mo replays, they were doing all sorts of things. I mean, let's be honest. Is Rory going to want to shake his hand? Is he going to be pally with him? No, he's not. Why is Patrick Reed going over there talking to him? What's the benefit of it? It's like, for me, they obviously there's some hatred in there. They don't like each other. Just bloody avoid each other.
yeah. Well, there's a
Um,
couple of things though here. When you look at that top 10 leaderboard, you've got Patrick Reed, live player, Ian Poulter, live player, Henrik Stenson, live player, Richard Bland, live player. Does this almost again strengthen Liv's position that their field, their roster are that competitive?
well, you'd be surprised if you weren't seeing those names at the top of a leaderboard, any leaderboard, whether this is going to be the Open this year or the Masters or other events. The live guys have still got, they can still play ball. Do you know what I mean? They're still very good golfers. You've got somewhat of a line of players that you could say have passed it. that maybe shouldn't be or will not be competing on the major tours anymore. Therefore, they went for the easier money, let's say, with Liv. But these guys are still super competitive. It's interesting that they are playing in these sort of events, considering their whole stance, or a lot of players' stance at the start of Liv was that they want to play less and they want to have an off season. They're almost going against that a little bit by getting involved in some of these events. But it was fascinating. I was watching the leaderboard and kind of seeing all the controversy with whether Rory's going to get paired with Patrick Reed. I mean, I genuinely believe TV ratings would have gone through the roof if they did. I'm pretty positive Rory McIlroy spoke to Keith Pelly, the head of DP World Tour, and said, "Do not put me out with him." I mean, I don't even think a word needed to be said for that to be quite obvious. But I do think for TV ratings, obviously, I woke up early this morning to see the result that Rory had won, birdieing the last by and taking it off Patrick Reed just by one. Deep down, and I know you were probably in the same boat, I'd have loved to have seen a playoff between those two.
Yeah, absolutely. I was watching it this morning, and don't get me wrong, I want Rory to win. That's the outcome I wanted.
Me too.
However, yeah, I absolutely wanted to see a playoff just to see how awkward it would be. And again, I'm still kind of trying to form my opinion on Live Golf, but I do think this was a big, although there was some positives for Live in a sense, and obviously the players did so well, just mentioned about that. But I think it was a big win for the DP World Tour to see Rory crowned champion. However, one thing I want to come on to that may well be the title of this podcast, and it's a little bit of speculation. It's something we talked about either last year or the year before. Potentially, this is a huge potential. Could TaylorMade be in for a bit of an issue this year? And what I'm going to come on to here is we've just seen the huge success online of the Callaway Paradigm driver. They've just obviously signed Good. They've got John Rahm using the driver and winning with the driver. It feels like there's a real excitement around Paradigm. Would you agree?
1,000,000%. If you've seen their stand here at the PGA Tour, PGA show, and I'll talk about it in a minute, they're making a big song and dance about it.
And it feels like, again, a lot of what I'm saying here, there's not massive stats and data to back it up. I can only talk about kind of feels and what we've seen from our videos. But even when I see people like friends of mine online on like Instagram stories going to the driving range to try out new drivers, it feels like more people are excited to try Paradigm. Well, Rory, obviously, fake. Go on, sorry, you're going to say something then?
No, I was just going to say it's similar feeling to how everyone wanted to go and try Stealth last January.
100%. And something obviously we're going to see now is that Rory has just won a massive Rolex event on the DP World Tour. And literally about an hour ago from now, I got an email, as a lot of people who work in the golf industry do, off TaylorMade with a press release, okay, talking about Rory McIlroy and his what's in the bag. Now, I'm very briefly going to talk to you about his what's in the bag and see where there may be an issue. So his ball was TP5X, no surprise there. His putter was the Spider X, the Hydro Blast version, again, no surprise. His irons are the Roars Proto 3-iron pitching wedge. He's then got a Stealth from last year, 5-wood in the bag. Well, that's no surprise. We know that Tour Pros in particular, once they find a 4-wood they like, they will stick it in the bag for years. Certainly like a 5-wood or a 7-wood, something a little bit finicky. Then his 3-wood, which TaylorMade will be great, very happy to see, is the Stealth 2 plus 3-wood. Then we come on to his driver. Now, Rory obviously has now an all-round game, but he is known for being one of the best drivers in the golf ball, arguably ever. He is currently using the TaylorMade Stealth Plus from last year driver. Now, that may not sound to some people like a massive story, but the press release that TaylorMade have sent us, the cover picture is Rory with the 3-wood around his kind of neck in the follow-through position, because that's the current one. They can't use the driver because that's the old one. Is this going to be a little bit of a concern for TaylorMade? Arguably their marquee player is using the old driver and winning with it, or will they still be happy? Talk to me.
I think there's two things to touch on there. What's happened to Forgiving?
Forgiveness.
Forgiveness, because that was Rory's line when he was hitting it in the promo stuff.
Very true.
Also, what wedges was using there in the press release?
Well, I saw, have you seen these rooms he's been using Vokies? Is that what he was using? Is that what he had in the bag?
In the bag. He had 3 Titleist Vokey wedges in the bag.
That's very interesting.
Well, if you actually look at that set, and again, I'm sure, and these, if you're really into your equipment, unless you're, or you've got us telling you this information right now, I bet a lot of people watching last night wouldn't have known any of this information. They would just presume that you see the TaylorMade bag, you know Rory's TaylorMade. You're going to presume he's in the latest and greatest, aren't you?
Yeah.
But you actually look at that set now. His putter is quite a number of years old. I don't know right now. Can you even buy that putter? I feel like it's 3, 4, 5, 6 years old. The wedges are obviously not TaylorMade. I don't believe you can buy the Rory irons.
I don't think so.
So really there, he's only actually got 3 clubs in the bag that you can currently buy. 2 of them, by the way, are on sale right now because they're TaylorMade Stealth and not Stealth 2.
That's a good point. I'm very happy you mentioned the wedges then, because at the start of the week, I saw some imagery. That's why I said the rumours then of him potentially going to be gaming the Titleist, Vokey wedges. And I must admit, I completely forgot about that. And actually, the shot he hit on 18, which was a great shot to 10 foot, was obviously with one of those wedges. So not only is he now using, as you said, Titleist wedges, using the old TaylorMade driver. What does this mean for TaylorMade?
Well, TaylorMade have normally had a real strong grip hold of their tour players. If you're a TaylorMade tour player, you use TaylorMade golf clubs. I think possibly you might get away with the putter in previous years. And obviously athletes like Tiger uses a different ball and a different putter. But overall, you pretty much have to use the whole set. And I'm sure there's something in the TaylorMade contract where the tour players, certainly the marquee 5, 6 players they've got now they've got rid of obviously DJ and Matt Wolf that have gone to live. They almost have to put in Stealth 2 driver. Now it's early in the year, so the one response for this, TaylorMade might not have gone through their full process with Rory. He might not be fully dialed in just yet. So I'd give it a couple of more weeks, a couple of more tournaments, or maybe in a couple of more months. I think as long as he's in the new gear by April, I think TaylorMade are still fine. But if he's still rocking that Stealth driver in April for the Masters, I think that's a big telltale sign for TaylorMade this season.
Well, that's true. And like you said, a lot of people who just watch the golf and see TaylorMade in Rory's bag, he sees huge tour bag, they won't even think, and they just see it as a TaylorMade win, which for TaylorMade is massive. They're going to be over the moon about it. But you just think for those guys that are a little bit more into equipment, that maybe they're a bit more equipment nerds who this year thinking, I want to treat myself to a new driver. You do think with, again, John Rahm winning with the Paradigm and Rory kind of still using the older Stealth, will that mean potentially, and just kind of thinking out loud, that people go for fittings and they still want to try Stealth, but they say, well, I'm going to try the old one because I know it still works. If Rory's still using it, it's good enough for me. But yeah, you do think TaylorMade known has been a massive driver brand. That's really their key product, their real hero product. Rory's arguably their biggest player. To not be using it, I do think it's a bit of a hit for TaylorMade.
We're talking about TaylorMade still, and this time the absence of TaylorMade. For the last week, I was at the PGA Trade Show. It's a 4-day event. I went for 3 days. The first day is a demo day, which is a big, massive driving range at Orange County, huge circular driving range where all these different types of brands are around this circle and everyone's testing the equipment. You might want to go and test the latest drivers, wedges, irons. You might want to see some wacky golf equipment, which we saw plenty of. So you might just want to give that a go. And then the next 2 days is or 3 days, should I say, it's a golf trade show, and it's literally like Disney for golf, guy. And to be honest, I've been in previous years, but I genuinely thought the show was going to be on a decline. I from what I'd seen over the last couple of years, but I suppose that's COVID. It was back, and it was back big. This huge convention center. Honestly, it's absolutely massive with every single, all the major manufacturers there, different pieces of technology, simulators, launch monitors, clothing, footwear, everything. However, this year there was an absence. TaylorMade were not there at all. Not a single bit of Stealth or carbon face was present. Now, you might go, well, they want to save money. They might not see value in the show. Now you've kind of talked about this a little bit. Is it the fact that they might not want to be on the driving range, being tested? You go to Callaway, you're going to hit their Callaway drive, and public don't normally get to do this, in such a huge event. You can go and get fitted by Callaway with the Callaway equipment, Cobra with Cobra equipment, Titleist, Ping, etc., etc. The TaylorMade almost removed themselves from the situation to almost protect themselves. I don't know. I'm just me thinking out loud now that you've talked about TaylorMade and the driver there. But the actual trade show itself, the demo day, This year was a little bit sparse. It wasn't.
Who's the demo day for? Because for my, again, correct me if I'm wrong, the PJ show was always a chance for PJ pros of North America to go and see product, order it for the pro shop, for the golf store, whatever it might be. So I guess to some degree they might want to hit a couple of shots to get a feel for the equipment. That would make sense. But surely all these guys have pre-ordered all the stock anyway. So who is actually out there hitting golf balls?
I must admit, it wouldn't surprise me if it's the last year of the demo day.
Right.
Companies definitely put less emphasis on the demo day this year. So it wasn't as all singing as all dancing as it has been of previous years. You're right. I certainly went there with no inclination of hitting drivers because I've pretty much hit everything already, and I'm in a fortunate position. A few people might, well, they were. Balls were still being hit. And to be honest, it probably was still PGA pros, your head professionals at different clubs who, they might have pre-ordered the equipment, but they might want to have a bit of a whack so that when they come and talk about that product with their members, they've got some information.
Mm-hmm.
So,
makes sense.
But I think back in the day, certainly many years ago, the demo day was where actual product was launched. Like you wouldn't have seen product up until the demo day. Where now, obviously, the internet,
Yeah,
us guys, we've ruined it for that because you see all the products already. I would say the biggest buzz just from walking around the demo day a couple of rounds was Cobra had a big buzz. A lot of people wanted to try Aerojet, a lot, and a lot of people wanted to try Paradigm.
Why do you think Cobra had that buzz? Not that they don't deserve it, but is there something that stands out, do you think?
And partly was the stand was brilliant.
Really?
And that sounds daft. Yeah, they had the best stand. They pumped the most kind of investment into it. But it was a stand that they'd used in previous years. It sounds daft. They had like a DJ playing. They had a couple of tour players down, like Lexi Thompson was down there. Kyle Berkshire was on the stand whacking golf shots. I met Kyle actually. He's a good guy. He's a big fella. He's tall and his shoulders are absolutely huge.
Really?
I didn't actually get to see him hit golf shots, unfortunately, but that was pretty cool. So maybe that is a bit of a drag and a bit of a pull. But a lot of people at the Ping stand, the Titleist stand, and again, this is only my opinion. I've got no hard facts on this. Looked much quieter than the other brands.
Do you think as well now? I mean, most golf brands, certainly the top 7 or 8 brands, all the clubs really, let's be honest, are as good as each other. It's about getting on either you like the sound or the look of the feel of whatever. But most golfers now, certainly most serious golfers, they want to get fitted. And that's good. And you can try a few different brands out. So when you go to your local PGA Pro, hopefully that pro should fit you for the one that you perform best with. As we said, there's not a great deal of difference. Do you think it's important for these brands to really try and win over some of the club pros in America? So let's just say you go as a pro, you're good honest pro, you've got a great golf shop, you go and you just get wowed by Cobra, let's just say. You meet Kyle Berkshire, you get a picture with him, you hit the driver, you have a great experience. Do you think almost consciously or subconsciously that may then, throughout the season, give that pro a bit more bias towards Cobra?
I think relationships with brands. I think brands are understanding that product is where product's at. Can it get a lot better? Obviously there are question marks for the R&D teams. I suppose now when people are putting it into pro shops, it's now relationships with those pros because at the end of the day, they're the sales people for the product. Fitters, pro shops, whether it's over here. I mean, I really want to go to one while I'm here, and I hopefully get time this afternoon. I really want to go to a PJ Superstore, and I really want to go to a Dick's Superstore. I bet all their sales teams were probably at the demo day.
Yeah,
because again, you're forging these relationships with these fitters and the salespeople. Well, that's going to do you good. You know what it was like with your time at American Golf.
Yeah,
you probably would potentially, not being biased or anything, but if you got treated well by a brand, you'd probably be more inclined to sell their product.
Well, that's it. And also, I remember from my days working in golf retail, again, you'd always try and fit the consumer for what they hit best. But if it came down to, let's just say they were between brand X and brand Y, and they're both very similar, you also knew as a, working in the golf industry, which brand was going to actually have the product to ship quicker, which brand was going to send them correct. Because, it sounds bizarre, but we see this still. Some major brands will send out clubs with the grips on wrong.
Yeah.
Or they might send out, you check the loft of the line, the loft is miles off. So you do start to end up pushing people towards brands that you trust as well. Not only just the performance, but the actual whole package from ordering the golf club to receiving them in your hand as well.
Right. And then I think you're spot on there. So then the actual PGA trade show was very, very good this year. I must admit, I saw there's one piece of well, first off, we've ordered.
How big is it? Just tell me the size of it
I
first.
can't
Let me picture
comprehend.
it.
Just Harry and Matt here quickly. How would you describe how big the conference centre was?
Like the food court at the Trafford Centre.
Oh, pardon? I, Guy just said it's like the food centre at the Trafford Centre. Like the food bit at the Trafford Centre is like the food bit at the convention centre.
Oh my days.
It's just you can't, honestly, it's really hard to comprehend. Um, let me think. Let me think. How far would it be? I should have zapped it. I would say it's comfortably, and I might be wrong. I think it's a par 5 at least in length.
Oh my gosh.
And a fairly short par 3 in width.
And like bar, obviously TaylorMade weren't there, but is every brand like the Lion Scott have a stand?
Yeah, brilliant stand.
Like how big would
obviously.
that be? Obviously.
That was God. Really hard to kind of quantify sizes really sometimes because you've got so many things around. I would say the Lion Scott stand was probably like maybe 3 of our podcast studios.
Nice.
Maybe 4 of our podcast studios, actually.
Heck.
The Callaway stand is ridiculous. Like
Massive.
Like huge.
And
right in the middle.
What's actually, obviously there's golf clubs there, but what is actually in the stands?
So
like
so you'll get typically the Callaway stand. They've done it for a few years. I mean, it's massive. It's all encased. They've got this huge paradigm driver displayed or like exploded up. You know, like the insides of a paradigm driver. You know, the 360-degree carbon chassis. That's what it actually was. That's huge. Like when I say huge, like 6 foot big. Right center. And as you walk in fact, I actually didn't go in the Callaway booth. But as you walk in, typically to a lot of these booths, you've got products everywhere on shelves, nicely displayed. You've got a few desks where, you know, representatives might be doing ordering. You know, suddenly you might be walking around and Roger Cleveland's there. You know, because obviously he makes their wedges. Or you might be walking around and all the engineers and the guys who are normally probably at Callaway HQ are there. So you've got all the marketing teams there, you've got the R&D teams, you've got the salespeople, you've got kind of everyone really from the brand are there. So as you walk in, you might get greeted. Someone might say, you know, can I help you today? And you might say, I'm just having a quick look. You can't actually buy a lot of things. So it's not as if you can go and buy a paradigm driver there and then. The only day you might be able to, and it's the day I've never been, is the last day is the public day. So they open.
I was going to say, so it's open to public.
The last day is fully open
cool.
to public, but from what I understand, it's a much less attended day.
Right.
So no, I think there's about 6,500, 7,000 attendees each day for the trade show, and from what I understand, there's only a couple of thousand for the actual public show, which really surprises me. But so that's one stand. Right opposite Callaway stand, you had a Top Tracer stand. So nice. they had like 10 Top Tracer stations and probably about 100-yard driving range where you can hit shots. And then obviously you see all the Top Tracer. Again, people are on there, representative. You might own a driving range and you might want to have a look at speaking to somebody about putting Top Tracer into.
So that makes sense.
Range.
That feels like that's something where they would do business.
And you've got those capabilities. And then, you know, the Titleist stand is a bit of a funny one.
Don't they all wear white blazers?
I didn't think they were going to do this year, but they were still there with all white blazers, kind of khaki black pants, white blazers, shirt and tie. It looks very official. The carpet, I tell you how you can tell the premiumness of a brand is the softness of the carpets.
Okay.
So as you walk in, the carpet at Titleist was like a bouncy castle. It was so spongy and soft. It was ridiculous. And then you've got little stations. You've got like Scotty Cameron had a station. So you've got loads of different mad head covers. You've got loads of different Scotty Cameron putters. Scotty Cameron himself was there.
Oh, wow.
So up at the top, and again, he was there with the white blazer on. You have videos playing, you know, big screens where they'll be showing off their athletes, whether it's Justin Thomas or Jordan Spieth or whoever it may be. You've got different sections where you'll see golf balls and how you can put different logos on it. And then you've got simulator rooms. You've obviously got places, guys like Foresight, obviously the GC Quad that I use. They've got a couple of stations set up, so you might want to go and buy a GC Quad for your teaching studio, and there you can go and test it and speak to a representative. Instead of kind of phone calls and emails, you get answers straight away. Like there is something very powerful about still having actual interactions with people. God, I could go on. There's so many different brands. There was one, so for example, this new studio we're building at the moment, which I don't think we've actually talked about it much on the podcast. This is for the new review channel that should be starting kind of February time. And apologize, there's been a delay on this for everybody listening and watching, but we wanted to get it right. So we're building a new studio for the review channel, which will allow us to do a lot more reviews very quickly. There's things like the movable greens. So Zen putting green, we're looking at getting one of them. There's Putt View, the actual
the laser things.
We've got some Putt View goggles.
Wow.
I've got them with me. They managed to give me some to test. So all those things are there. There was a brand called Focus, which would be really hard for me to describe on video and audio, but effectively it's a projector that projects down. And when you hit a golf shot, it genuinely right in front of you on the mat, guy, it shows you your face rotation and your path, but on the mat in front of you.
Oh my word.
Like, it's unbelievable. There was some really cool stuff. There was like a swing robot. I spoke to this guy about a swing robot, whether we get one or whether we can do some work with him. But then there's every single clothing brand, every single head cover company. Obviously, we're looking at potentially doing some merchandise soon. So that was really good to talk to some merchandise brands and head cover companies and towel companies. Like obviously met up with Echo. Saw their new shoe lineup for next year.
Nice.
You're gonna like a lot actually. So for me, it was an opportunity to chat to existing partners and guys who have obviously Lion Scott, Top Tracer, Echo, etc. But also look at potentially speaking to new partners that can help elevate the content or create some new opportunities. So I went this time as a grown up. It felt like a real grown up trade show this year.
Yeah.
Up until 5 p.m. and then
sourcing.
And then sourcing. So that's all the boring business bit. Okay.
Yep.
YouTubers who we met.
Oh, okay. Talk to me.
So obviously at the trade show, you expect to see, like I was doing 6-7 years ago, YouTubers running around with a camera and a tripod, filming everything that you can see. So I think the very first people we actually bumped into was Stacked Golf.
Yes.
So they were at the demo day, Ashley and John, and exclusively, I think I might have shared it on Instagram actually, but right now on the podcast, I am very soon to be featuring in a Stacked Golf video.
Exciting. Well, if you're not aware of who Stacked Golf are, most people listening and watching probably will be because we've mentioned them several times. They have
which they were very thankful for, by the way.
Oh, that's good to know. Well, I've heard they've been giving away Scotty Camerons to other members of staff. And
left,
where's mine?
right, and centre.
All the plugs are doing them.
They literally opened their. I thought I had some golf clubs, guy. They open their boot and they've got Scotty Camerons coming out of every section of the car.
Well, they essentially go around these amazing kind of thrift stores in America, what we'd call like charity shops over here. But what's insane is if I go to a charity shop looking for golf clubs, they have like nothing or a set of house irons that are like left-handed. They go to shops and pick up Scotty Camerons for like 20 quid and stuff. It's insane.
They are not charity shops like we know.
Just massive.
They are not like that.
Did you go to some then for the video?
Yeah. They took me thrift shopping. So we went pretty much all day. We went thrift shopping. This was the day of the demo day. We went and got some food. I went to a driving range and whacked all the clubs. Or honestly, God knows how many clubs I bought. We actually ended up giving the clubs away in the video because I couldn't have brought them all home. Unbelievable. They showed me how to negotiate. They showed me what I should be looking for, what I should maybe avoid. I bought so much stuff, but yeah,
I don't think you know how to negotiate. Someone says to you, it's 50 quid. You go, I'll give you 60.
You'll be wrong, guy. There were some awkward encounters.
Really? Did you do your quiet trick?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I think I taught Stats Golf how to negotiate.
Will that video be out today, Monday, or I bet it was soon?
I don't know because for them, so we had Harry and Matt from our team. No, it wasn't. It was Matt and Sam from our team. They're winding me up because I got the names wrong again. Matt and Sam from our team helped film a bit of the video, and they normally film on GoPro and
Yeah,
phone.
yeah.
So we've sent some footage over to them. And I think it's blown up the laptop. Basically,
Wow.
I think they were like, "What the hell?" Because obviously we shoot in pretty decent cameras and stuff. So that was really good. Bumped into Mr. Short Game,
Oh
just very
yeah.
briefly. Just bumped into him, and then on, I think it was Tuesday night or the Wednesday night, or maybe I've lost track of times. We actually hired a couple of bays at Top Golf, and invited loads of YouTubers. So TXG came. So
Nice.
Fat Perez came from Bob for
Nice.
Sports. That's all they had. Oh, Sat Golf came. They're all my friends. I then ended up getting drunk, and had a great time.
Good.
I'm not going to go too much into detail here for legal reasons, Guy,
Go on.
but go into some beef.
When you say legal reasons, what are the legal reasons? Because
We're going to soon find out if
okay,
there's any
let's
legal
explain
ramifications.
explain the beef.
So typically, I'm a happy-go-lucky type of guy.
Okay.
I like to get on with people in the golf industry. I like to get on people with the media.
Yep.
But if somebody rattles my cage, Guy, they're going to
What are
know
you gonna
about
do?
it.
What? How do you? Well, talk to me how to rattle your cage first, and explain what happened.
Again, can't go into this for legal reasons right
Okay.
now. There might be some court case happening, and I'm not saying the authorities might be involved, but the authorities might be involved.
Wow.
Yeah, there was certain media publication who have for many, many, many years wanted to attack me,
Yeah.
provoke me. Some would say cancel me.
Ooh.
So it was like a scene from Anchorman,
Right.
in the car park,
Yeah.
where they kind of two news networks meet each other. Hey,
Uh-oh. Here comes trouble.
and we had a little showdown, and I told them what for.
Was this after a few shandies?
Not at all. If it
No.
was after a few
Wow.
shandies,
Oh wowzers.
then it would have been trouble.
So
This was at the trade show.
What did you actually say? Give me the words that come out of your mouth. Well,
I can't.
as friendly as you can.
This is a family-friendly show. I was just very displeased with the personal attacks constantly coming from certain company, which
Okay,
we've mentioned many, many times on this podcast. So it wouldn't be hard for people to
5
figure
shots.
who it out.
What was their response when you said something? It's out of the blue. The walking.
It might have ended up being much more than 5 shots if shandies were involved. Yeah, there was awkward.
Did they say something back to you then when you said something to them?
No. So
Okay.
I saw them at the demo day. I kind of mentioned that they shouldn't try and be out in me today, or what they're going to try and dig up on me today.
Yeah.
And I didn't get any response from that. I was hoping for a little nibble, but
Like they just ignored you when you said it.
Yeah, they kind of walked away.
Oh.
And then the next
like
time,
mature adults.
then the next time they approached me and tried to, I wouldn't say rectify, that was the wrong word. I think they had no idea that they were doing anything wrong, apparently, in their books. So yeah, it got heated. I walked away, and a few extreme words were exchanged. But on that note, so that was the demo days. That was PJ Trade Show. We had some really good food. Lion Scott took us out for a wonderful steak restaurant.
Who was there from Lion Scott? Was it Dickie?
Every Tom, Dick, and Harry.
Tom, Dickie, and Harry, and Harry was there as well.
I think there was a Tom there as well. I'm sure there was a Tom. So we did that. That was really good. I had Wagyu steak for the first time ever.
Was it nice? I've never had that.
It was, yeah.
Better than a fillet.
Wagyu meatballs, they were mega. And then Wagyu steak was a bit, I don't know, quite fatty.
Oh.
I think that's what it's supposed to be. They feed the cows or something. Anyway, so I had that. I had plenty of alcoholic beverages, which has been fun. Baby beers again, which has been welcome. I introduced Lion Scott guys to baby beers. And then the golf started. So I don't want to give too much away, but we've managed to film some banger videos at some of the most exclusive golf clubs in the world, plus some of the most high regarded golf clubs in the world. So I played at Isleworth.
Nice.
Wow, what a track that is. So that's where Tiger used to live. He used to live on Isleworth. Loads of tour players have. It's an unbelievable golf course. The artwork around the place as well. You've probably seen the pictures, the big bull
Yeah.
on the first tee. There's only 3 of them in the world. One of them's on the stock exchange in New York.
Oh, yeah.
And the other 2 are actually owned by the owner of Isleworth, and they're $4.5 million a piece.
Oh my days. For a big bull.
Big, massive. It's pretty impressive. I don't know how they got it there. So there was that. And then yesterday I played at TPC Sawgrass.
That looks insane. Such a good golf course. Was it hard?
It wasn't as hard as Isleworth.
Right.
However, almost what's the right kind of description? Well, from Isleworth, I played with a young pro, actually. He was a really good lad called Ryan Ruffles. And he is a Australian, but pretty much lives in the US.
How did you end up playing with him in the end, by the way?
So oddly enough, I didn't think so. I was supposed to be filming with a good friend of the show who unfortunately couldn't continue over the show. They had to go back to the UK for personal reasons. So on the first day, I kind of didn't really have anyone to play with. So I put a post out and see if there was anyone kind of fishing around, because obviously the PJ show had been on, maybe some creators or whatever was around. Anyway, I got a message from this Ryan saying, "Oh, by the way, the guys at Isleworth, he's a member there, have put me in touch with you to play." I was like, "Oh, bloody brilliant!" He was honestly mega. He proper struck it. So that was a really cool video. His mum and dad used to be professional tennis players. Played in like Wimbledon final and everything, doubles finals. So he was cool. He's flown over to Australia now because he's playing in the Vic Open, and he's going to actually try and do as many starts as he can on DP World Tour. So look out for that name. So that was really good. But we played off the Tiger tees. The tees are actually called the Tiger tees. So it was like 7,600 yards, mate. It was so long.
That's
it was
too hard. It's too long.
so long. The second hole was a 260-yard par 3, and it was literally the hardest par 3 I've ever played in my life.
That's too much for me. That's too hard.
That was really fun. And then played at.
Can I guess something? Can I guess you didn't break 75?
Guess what you want, but I'm not going to tell you. You have to wait to see the video.
Guess.
And then played at TPC Sawgrass yesterday. Honestly, that place looked. I don't know if they want me to say this, and I'm not that there's any ramifications. If not, it really does look like Augusta. Like it's like a flatter Augusta. So with a bit of palm trees. So the sand is perfect white. The grass, there's not a blade of grass out of place anywhere on the facility. Obviously, they've got the Players Championship coming up in just a few weeks. In fact, it actually timed perfectly. The video that we filmed there, the Break 75, actually might go on the Players Week.
Oh, that'd be class.
That'd be really good. Obviously, you got the famous 17th hole, the par 3.
So good.
And I must admit, you think about it from the first tee shot to the 17th tee shot. That was really good. Really strong finish. I won't give too much away. But that golf course, I had a caddy, he was called Nick. He actually caddies at Sawgrass. He watches the videos, and he was a proper white boiler suit and everything. I got the full treatment. So that was really good. Today playing Bay Hill.
Wow.
So where the Arnold Palmer Invitational is, I believe I'm actually playing with Mr. Palmer's great stepson, or some is relation to Mr. Palmer anyway.
Wow,
that'd be really cool. I believe that's going to be really, really hard today because the tournament's only there in a couple of weeks, so I think that's going to be very, very challenging today. So got that, and then one more golf course we're going to squeeze in Tuesday morning. We went to Pop Stroke one night, which is Tiger's putting place.
Is it good?
Mate, it's so good.
I didn't realize that Tiger Woods had so many businesses over there, but it seems like there's quite a lot of, like, the restaurant you went to last time, the putting place.
Yeah.
Was it like a massive mini golf?
It is, but I must admit, it's, how to describe it? It's there's different categories to mini golf, isn't there? Like there's crazy golf, which I would classify crazy golf as being kind of windmills and clowns and what a lot of people have it as. I would then say there's adventure golf. And adventure golf, I would say, is themed. So whether it's dinosaurs, you get a Trafford Centre, whether it's pirate themed, they're more adventure golf where it's not hitting through windmills, but there's a theme that's attached to that type of venue. Where this didn't really have a theme. It was kind of just very clever design. Believe it or not, Tiger has had a say in the design of some of the holes, if not all of the holes. Like if every hole looked a little bit like a mini hole at Augusta. Like they had the white sand, but it's not actual sand. It's just a different type of AstroTurf, a different type of artificial grass. The greens rolled unbelievable. The side banking was still AstroTurf, but it was just like a thicker grass. So if the ball kind of rolled over, unless you whacked it, the ball would actually kind of come back down. There was these LED blue lights in every hole, which made the hole kind of stand out really well. The service, they had this really cool restaurant. They had like ping pong going on, and that game, is it corn thingy? You know, when you throw the bag
yeah.
into the hole. I
Yeah,
can't remember what it's called. Really nice restaurant, great service, good food. When you actually buy your pass to play, you get an all-day pass because it's 36 holes and you can play as much as you want. And they actually give you the ball. The ball is like a Bridgestone ball. Now it's actually a TaylorMade ball because TaylorMade have actually just bought into the company. You actually get to keep that actual proper golf ball,
That's
a brand new
cool.
ball. The putter was good. And it sounds daft, but even the putter was good.
Yeah.
It had a proper square fronted grip and it felt soft. Like genuinely, it was class. We had a great time. So that was good. And then I'm trying to think what else we've done. Just here, there, and everywhere. I tried Chick-fil-A for the
I
first
feel
time.
that could almost be a video that put in place. Like
It
I
could
want to
have
see
been.
it. Like
I know I would pop. So I've got the manager's details now. I'd love to go back. I think for a video, there's obviously music blaring.
yeah, you
There
need
was
it almost empty,
lots
wouldn't
and
you?
lots and lots of people around. Like it was busy, kids, and so that would be quite hard to have filmed that day. But definitely would love to go back and film it. But the only thing is, I actually think you get the best experience at night. So you'd need to
Yeah,
go
it's hard to
on
film
an
it. Yeah.
evening when it's dead. So I'll speak to Tiger. I'm sure he'll come out for a round of golf with me.
Then you
But
had a Chick-fil-A, did you say?
Chick-fil-A for the first time ever. That was a taste sensation.
Was it? Never had
Yeah,
one.
it was class. They've
Good.
massively got our order wrong though. So I ordered 4 deluxe Chick-fil-A meals. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
They arrived with 5 standard Chick-fil-A meals. I was like, well, we ordered deluxe. But also, why is there 5? Because only 4 of us. They then brought 5 more burgers
Oh my
after.
days.
So we ended up having like double burgers and a couple spare. So we've still got a couple in the fridge here at the house, but I don't think we'll eat them. So yeah, no, it's been really good. I've bought you some presents.
Oh wow, you're too kind.
I know. So I'll give them to you next podcast episode next week. I'm back. We fly out in a couple of days, so I'll be back end of the week. And like I said, the weather's been good. The golf's been fantastic. You know, it's been a good grown up trip plus a good work trip. The lads, the camera lads, when I was kind of having grown up meetings at the PGA show, I gave them my bank card to go and buy as much random stuff as they could possibly get.
Have we got a lot?
Well, I'm gonna show you one thing. This.
Okay. That
Yeah.
doesn't look that exciting. What does it do?
God knows.
It's a toilet roll holder.
This.
Oh, nice.
Sorry, not the longest, the loudest golf ball in the game.
Okay. Yeah, because
Yeah.
that's what you need.
An American glove.
That's great.
So that's what they got.
That's everything out
I'm
of
only
the.
joking. I'm
Oh,
only
right,
joking.
okay.
They got some really good stuff. I'm just picking
I'm
up
hoping
the
for
really...
like illegal exploding drivers and
No, I'm only
million
joking.
CC heads.
They've picked some really
We've
good
got
stuff
a pack
up.
of teas.
No, they've picked some really good stuff. I'm just winding them up. They've picked up the crap stuff there. But yeah, no, all's been good. Excited to get back home a little bit as well. Don't know why. In fact, I don't even know why I've said that. That's a total lie. I'm not excited.
Well, this has been a very nice. I don't know how long we've been on this podcast. Probably 45 minutes or so. It's been a nice one. We didn't want to miss one this week. We felt like we wanted to get one out. If you listen to this, hopefully it sounded pretty good. If you're watching it, it's obviously a bit different to normal because Rick's in America and I'm here at the studio. We're back to normal next week. So if you've got any questions you want to send us, please do email podcast@rickshiels.com. We'll fire through a load of questions next week. And we've also got an exciting Break 75 out this week at Wallasey. So if you're watching and listening, you enjoyed the one at Birkdale where James Robinson came and showed us how to play golf, you're in for some good news because he's back and bigger and better than ever.
Well, the Ryan Ruffles is like our American James Robinson.
All right,
He's just
okay. We
like,
need to have one in every place.
Yeah.
Need an Irish James Robinson, a Welsh James Robinson.
also made some incredible connections at some incredible golf courses on my bucket list.
Oh wow,
Like strong connections, which
exciting
is going to
times.
be really, really exciting. So we'll get all those boxed off. Hopefully, start the year. Birkdale, obviously, we've not talked about this on this podcast. Thanks so much for all the wonderful comments on the Birkdale video. I think it was a long one and over an hour long. People have seemed to be absolutely loving that. People loving the difference in James trying to break 70, me 75, and you 80. It was a nice contrast. Wallasey again this week. We filmed it the same, pretty much the day after Birkdale. That's going to be coming out next week. That's a unbelievable golf course. It really is. And I think that'll be another absolutely incredible video. And then the week after that, it's the Royal Liverpool special.
Yeah,
I think I've got my weeks right there.
Yeah, I think that's right. There's some very good Break 75s coming, and there's also some very, very good other bits of content coming as well. So it's an exciting start to the year. Jealous of being over there, but looking forward to being back and getting some more bangers in the can.
Yeah, they'll be canned and banged. Right, guys, thanks for listening. Hopefully you've enjoyed this podcast. Sorry it's a little bit shorter, but the places to be, people to meet, golf to play, videos to filmed. Guys got nappies to change. So thanks everybody. Enjoy your week, and we shall see you next week. Our normal service will be resumed. Peace.